What's up?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, I don't even know who this is. How long has it been since we've been fishing, Sam?
About 10 months, 10, 11 months, something like that.
So today we are at Geist fishing with Sam. We met up in Indianapolis. This is supposed to be one of the best bass lakes in the state, right? So we are gonna get after it today and we're gonna take you along with us. So strap up, we'll see you out there. Nice bass. There we go. Keep
Do this without getting a hook in me. Nice size crappie on a jerkbait.
Alright guys, so Geist Reservoir is on the north side of Indianapolis, and it is a very interesting reservoir. Being March, the water was in between 49 and 52 degrees. We started on creek channel banks in the pockets, and we started with jerkbaits because we were seeing some bait in the 8 to 12 foot range, so we hit a bunch of these pockets along the creek channel in the morning. We worked our way through a lot of these pockets, a lot of the bigger pockets, throwing chatterbaits, throwing rattle traps, throwing spinnerbaits, jerkbaits, tubes, Ned rigs, jigs, flipping wood cover, and we could not find any fish whatsoever. Now, the only place we were marking stuff were out on these flats around these islands, as you can see here, and we were marking bait in that 8 to 12 foot range. Problem is there was nothing holding them out here. Geist is a really affluent lake, and it's been sprayed accordingly, and there was no grass anywhere except for this one little pocket of offshore grass that we could find. Like, if I was gonna fish this lake again, I would spend the majority of my time driving around looking in these pockets and areas for grass, because that's what's gonna hold bass, right? We saw a bunch of fish suspended above the grass, a bunch of bait, so we started throwing everything we could at it. Jerk baits, swim baits, nothing would get a bite. I finally am gonna pick up a drop shot, and here's what happens. There are bass in this lake. Find the grass, you'll find the bass, friends. How long has it been? Hour and a half, 2 hours? Hour and a half? On a drop shot, we found a pocket of offshore grass. We fished shallow to start. There we go, first Geist bass, and it's a keeper.
Well, that's just, going off one fish.
Yeah, but if you catch them bugs,
there's one.
Get in front of the camera. Where is it?
A little better.
That's a crop.
That is a crappie.
That's a nice crappie.
He pulled just a touch of drag.
Wow. That's a big ass crop.
Hit the head of this jerkbait too. All right, let's see if I can do this without getting a hook in me. Nice size crappie on a jerkbait.
Hey, let's go.
That's a fish.
So after we started catching fish, we started looking to try to repeat that process. Find offshore grass in that 8 to 12 foot range, target fish that are in pre-spawn mode still. And we searched and searched and searched. We ran all over the lake. We fished a lot of different spots, and we ended up not catching a thing. We would find fish suspended. They would not eat a dang thing. We threw the kitchen sink at them. For whatever reason, they just weren't having it that day. So we decided to load up and head back to that one grass spot where we had caught a couple fish to finish out our day and see if it was a timing thing. Because sometimes the offshore bite can be a timing thing. So here we roll back up to our spot, and let's see what happens.
Got it.
Sonny, look at that. It's a fish. Purple on him. It's a giant. It's a giant. There we go. Keeper. Well, that took a while, folks. That took a while. Not gonna lie. But we're out here fishing offshore grass. We're catching bluegill, we're catching crappie, we're catching bass. And he's not bad. Not a bad fish here at Geist. He's fat and happy. Let's go. So this is where the bite would pick up for us a little bit. We had a window there from about 1 to 3, and it was the Megabass 110 that got a lot of the work done. In a perch color and in a shad color, this Megabass 110 was suspending right over these weeds, and they were coming up out of the weeds to hit it. We were catching bass finally. It took a long time for that bite window to turn on, but sometimes when you're fishing offshore, you gotta kind of play that bite window and see when it's gonna happen and what you're looking for. All right, guys, that was a tough day in the office.
I don't have anything to say about it. This is a goofy lake almost.
So Geist is very, very, very wealthy, and there's no weeds in this lake. There's no grass in this lake right now. It's March, but the only spot that we could find grass, we caught fish, offshore grass. We were in 8 feet of water. We caught some crappie, we caught some sunfish, we caught some bass. Drop shot, doing a little bit of everything, right? And literally, like, we fished shallow, we fished deep, we fished in between, we scanned, we graphed, we just couldn't find them today. And I think what happened on a day like today, and I think Sam and I have talked about it a lot today, is when it's nice like this in the spring, you want to run to the shallows and you want to fish the pockets, you want to fish the points, but the fish aren't shallow. Like, we moved too far in front of the fish. When we backed off and found that offshore grass, we started to catch fish. We just didn't run into any of the caliber fish that we wanted to, right? So you got to remember that just because the water temp jumps up real quick and the air temp jumps up real quick, that the fish aren't necessarily going to jump up that quick too. Still fish your transition area. So we are in a classic transition area with offshore grass, right? That's where we found bait, that's where we found fish, and that's kind of how we caught them. So you can get all of our stuff. We'll link it on Omnia, but hang out with us. Thanks. Give us a like, give us a subscribe.
We'll be back.
We'll be back. See you next time.